Hi, my name is Joanne van Empel. I'm from the Netherlands, and I'm going to answer some questions that were sent to me, 9 questions, about doing business in the Netherlands. The first question is, what can you tell us about doing business in Holland? Doing business in Holland is, what is important is punctuality. So people expect you to be very punctual with meetings, but also with, for example, delivery of all kinds of material, purchased goods or services, or the delivery of raw materials. Also with payments. Normally in the Netherlands we have a shorter credit period than in Latin America. So in the Netherlands it's between 1 or 2 months, and in Latin America it can be 60 days until 90 days. Then honesty and ethical behavior are also very important in the Netherlands. Honesty above little white lies, because you can really ruin a business relationship with dishonesty. Ethical, conscious behavior is valued. Recently, I would say more. So how are your business activities, how are they affecting the environment or the community, people or employees who work with you? How transparent is your financial management? So people focus on that when doing business in the Netherlands. Your second question is, what differences can you notice within Mexico's and Dutch labor aspects? So people in the Netherlands the employees are looking for a good work leisure time balance. So they don't want to live for their work. They prefer to work less and have a lot of free time to do other things. So that's why the work week in the Netherlands is sometimes 34, 36 or 38 hours, but not 40 hours anymore. The labor relationships are not authoritarian or submissive. Equality is very important for Dutch workers at all levels. So employees are frequently asked for their collaboration, their quality circles. So higher management will ask for your opinion, and they will also consider your opinion on how to make improvements and how to make changes that will make the company more efficient. I believe that in Mexico there's more a top-down approach, so higher management will tell you what to do, and they will ask less input from the employees. And in Mexico the working hours are longer and there are fewer holidays offered. Where would I rather work and why? I think I would rather work in the Netherlands because the social benefits and the perks are a lot better. As I said, the work weeks are shorter. But then, besides that, part-time is more common. A lot of my friends work part-time, so they work 4 days a week or 3 days a week. I also appreciate the fact that human resources in the Netherlands, they do a lot of development training for employees, and that can be professional development, but also personal development. To get a promotion, I believe, is also easier in the Netherlands. I feel in Mexico people are more envious about their position, and that human resources is mainly focused on recruiting, for example, new employees, and on payments of salaries, but not so much on developing, on training the employees. So for what scheme do people in the Netherlands follow at work? Well, normally people work, as I said, 36 to 38 hours a week, or sometimes it's 34 or 32. Part-time is commonly accepted. People start their workday around 8:30, and then they finish at 5:30. And that is very important, that everybody finishes around 5:30, 6 o'clock. It's not very common for people to stay later than that, and because if they stay later, then the employer has to pay overtime. And overtime can sometimes be 125% or 150% or even 200% when it's during the weekend. When you work on a Sunday, and sometimes in call centers they work on Sundays, they get 150 or 200% of their normal pay. So it's double. So that's why employers don't want their employees to work overtime. People normally don't work on Saturdays, only from Monday to Friday. And as I said, I have a lot of friends who work only 3 or 4 days a week, and then they spend 1 or 2 days a week with their children, and then normally their partner does the same. So children don't have to go to daycare a lot because normally there will be one parent in the house. So men do this as well, not just the women. 5, is it easy for a foreign person to open business in the Netherlands? I think it's difficult for a foreign person to open a business in the Netherlands. I know it's very difficult to open a bank account, even when you're Dutch and you live abroad. You have to be located in the Netherlands, live in the Netherlands, be a resident, to open a bank account. And I assume that that's the same when you want to start your business. For Dutch people, it's not difficult to open their own business. It's very straightforward procedure, and you can do it within a few days. But for foreigners, it's more complicated. Then another aspect is that the Dutch are over-organized, I would say sometimes. There are a lot of rules and regulations for any kind of activity. So regulations concerning your employees, concerning the space that you occupy, concerning the environment, your waste material, regulations regarding complying with local and with national government agencies. A lot of different groups of stakeholders are monitoring you, they're controlling you, they're looking on your shoulder what you're doing as an entrepreneur. So that makes it complicated to start a business in the Netherlands. Also, fines are high. So if you make a mistake, fines are rather high. 6, what would you recommend in order to open a business in Holland? Which requirements? I would recommend to seek contact with the Kamer van Koophandel, the Chamber of Commerce, and with the local government of the location in which you want to open a business. I would also recommend to partner up with a Dutch partner. So, because Dutch businessmen, they know the procedures and the laws and the specific regulations concerning various stakeholders. They know that better than any foreigners. So, at least in the beginning, I would seek help from Dutch businessmen or a Dutch consultancy, business consultancy agency, who are specialized in offering this kind of help. 7, are Dutch people flexible? And if they are, in which aspects? I believe Dutch people are very flexible, are quite flexible and understandable, as long as you're honest. They understand mistakes and failures, and they won't judge you directly for starters' mistakes. Dutch people in general are very curious to learn other cultures and customs, so they will be interested in buying foreign products and using exotic new food products. They're also very conscious buyers in general. I'm not sure if you know the fair trade concept, which is still very popular in the Netherlands. And people are even switching to banks that are investing money in a fair and in a conscious way. How are Dutch people different from Mexicans? There is in the Netherlands a big middle class. And so the gap between rich and poor people is not as big as in Mexico. And that has a lot of impact on the society. So in the Netherlands, people have more or less the same wealth. And I think for that reason, society is also more egalitarian. In Mexico, I believe some people behave as if they own the world, as if they can do however they please because they have more money. And other people might sometimes accept this because they are poor or they were or are submissive. I do believe this is changing in Mexico too, but I still feel that's more persistent, more existent in Mexico than in the Netherlands. Dutch people don't like to show off their wealth. They rather hide their wealth from others and live in soberness. And this comes a bit from the Lutheran religion in the northern part of the Netherlands. Dutch people are less family-oriented, more individualistic. They don't focus on forming social groups as much as Mexican people do. Independence is very important for Dutch people. So most adolescents, they leave the house when they are 19, 20 years old, and then they start studying and working. Normally they combine study with work. So students study and work at the same time to have their own income and to not depend anymore on their parents. And then 9, is Holland a good place to start a business? Why? I think the Netherlands is a good place to start a business because the purchasing power of the Dutch people is very high and people are very inclined to try a lot of new things out of curiosity. Also, I believe when you are able to start your business in the Netherlands and you can make it grow, there's a lot of protection. There are a lot of funds available, there are a lot of training, help for starters, and there's also a lot of protection so that you get the best service possible to make your company succeed. So I hope this answers your questions. Good luck with the presentation.